You're going to find that you're going to get the most dramatic results from any retouching that you do when you retouch the eyes. So in this chapter, we're going to focus exclusively on different techniques that you can perform to enhance the eyes. Before we continue, I want to point out that it can be really helpful if you have a tablet when retouching photographs. If you don't, that's certainly acceptable, but if you find that you're going to spend a lot of time retouching images, you may want to make that investment. The first thing that we want to take a look at is how we can ultimately trim eyebrows. Now, in this case, her eyebrows honestly aren't bad, but we're going to go ahead and trim them anyway so we can see the technique. I'm working with this document called eyebrow.jpg. It's available in your exercise files folder. Go ahead and open it up. The first thing that I want to do is come over and select the lasso tool. And with the lasso tool, we're going to come over and make a selection of her skin just above the eyebrow. This will give us the ability to take a little bit of this skin and pull it over her eyebrow, ultimately trimming it. So what you want to do is just draw an eyebrow shape. Again, this is where a tablet can be really helpful, depending upon your mouse drawing skills. So this is fine. It doesn't have to be perfect, but this is pretty good. Now, anytime that you are retouching a photograph, you want to make sure that you have soft selections in many situations anyway. The softer the selection, the more gradual the transition will be between the new pixels that you introduce as you overlap older pixels. So with that, we have an active selection here. We want to come up to the Select menu. And under the Select menu, you can choose Modify, and from there, you can choose Feather. This will open up a dialog box where you can specify the feather radius. In this case, we're going to go with 5 pixels. Now, if you're completely unfamiliar with the idea of feathering, I would strongly recommend going back to our Photoshop CC Fundamentals course. With that, let's go ahead and click OK. Once you click OK, we're ready to copy these pixels. And you can do that easily. The keyboard shortcut here on the Mac is Command-C. It would be Control-C on the Windows side. Then you want to go ahead and paste these pixels. Command-V on the Mac, Control-V on Windows, and when you do that, you'll paste the pixels on a new layer. Now, we want to move these pixels down. If we turn off the visibility of the background layer, you'll see we just have this sliver of skin, essentially. I'll turn the background layer back on. Make sure that that new layer is active. It's the selected layer, and press the V key on your keyboard to activate the Move tool. Then you can click and drag and pull that skin down, essentially, over her eyebrow. And when you let go of the mouse, you can see we've essentially trimmed the top of that eyebrow off. And you can see the before and after. If you turn off the visibility of layer 1, this is the before and this is the after. So it doesn't look that bad. There's a little bit of a highlight here because the skin tone was lighter up here than it was down here. You can easily correct that using something like the Spot Healing Brush. We'll do that in a moment, but what's important is that if you're going to trim one eyebrow, you need to trim the other eyebrow. So I'm going to go ahead and name layer 1. I'll call it Eyebrow 1, or maybe you could be more specific and call it Eyebrow Right, whatever you want to do. But now we want to come back to the background layer, and we want to go ahead and make a similar selection over here above this eyebrow. So again, choose the lasso tool, and with the lasso tool, you want to draw a similar shape. So again, come up and around and create kind of like that eyebrow shape. So once you're done, you have the selection. You want to make sure it's soft. So let's come up to the Select menu. You can choose Modify, and then you can choose Feather. And again, I'm going to go with 5 pixels. Now, I'm looking at this shape, and realistically, it should be a little bit flatter here. You can always alter it, remember, by holding down the Shift key, you can add to the selection. So I'll go ahead and do that just to add a little bit right over here, and I think that's better. Once you do that, you can go ahead and copy this and paste it. Remember, the keyboard shortcut is Command-C on the Mac, Control-C on Windows to copy, then Command-V on the Mac to paste, Control-V on Windows. And again, it creates the new layer. You want to select the Move tool. V is the keyboard shortcut, and you just want to go ahead and drag this down a little bit. Again, you can also use your arrow keys on your keyboard to do that. I'm going to move it over to the right a little bit and then move it down. And you'll notice I'm getting not the best results over on the left side. And really, this looks a little too abrupt. So I'm going to go ahead and scrap this. I'm just going to trash this layer. And after trashing this layer, I'm just going to go ahead and redraw this. Honestly, I don't think I did such a good job the first time, so I'm just going to come back around. This is already better. And then you want to make sure that you modify this selection and add a feather to it. I'll click OK, copy, paste, and then you can go ahead and select the Move tool and move it into place. So that's actually looking a little bit better. And so now, if we turn off the visibility of both of these layers, this is the before and this is the after. So we definitely trimmed up the eyebrows a little bit. If you want to match tone now in these small spaces up here, you can do that easily by selecting the Spot Healing Brush tool. With this tool selected, you want to make sure that Sample All Layers is checked. And so what we're dealing with now is the eyebrow on the left side. And if you want to rename this layer, you can do that. I'll call it Eyebrow Left. And then all you have to do is maybe increase the brush size a little bit by using the right bracket key on the keyboard. Then just click and drag over that spot, and you'll notice you're getting rid of some of those tones. And then you can do the same thing over here on this layer. I'll just click and drag, and you'll notice it darkens that up nicely. So again, let's take a look at the before, and now let's take a look at the after. So that's a quick, easy technique for trimming eyebrows in Photoshop.